I heard it was peak. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, and to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Ain't another fun fact. Kagurabachi. I'm seeing so many people. And notably, it is with the release of these two chapters especially, which is hilarious because I couldn't review chapter 85, which is what I'm reviewing first, or chapter 86, literally just because of timing circumstances. Something either dropped that day where I was like, oh, I need to cover this first, and or like I was just busy. Like I just wasn't home 2 weeks ago. That's why, if you're wondering, hey, Pencil Man, why didn't you review chapter 85 until now? That's why. I simply wasn't in the ability or in the location where I could record. But now that we're here, I'm seeing a whole bunch of people finally wake up a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Even I was sleeping in quite a decent bit on Big Bachi, if you know what I'm talking about. Essentially, I still remember when it first came out, it was dropped super duper early. It was like in the leaks, and I was like, oh, this is going to be your next typical crazy edgy manga. And at first, I kind of just read it as that. I didn't really take reviewing it all too seriously. I didn't start reviewing it until like the 30s, but I was following it. I was watching it. I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Maybe this is actually some peak. And it's actually some peak. But now we've gotten to a point where Samura's kind of mainstream, which is crazy. Like, honestly, I know I'm in the anime manga community, and obviously all the algorithms that I have are tailored specifically to me. But the fact that I've seen multiple Samura edits, I've seen multiple Samura discussion posts, I've seen multiple Samura, like, I've seen so many things related to Samura, specifically as a character, and by proxy Kagurabachi as a whole, that I'm kind of losing my mind. I'm happy that it's gone from, oh, you know, funny meme sword man, enough time has passed, to wait a minute, genuinely maybe enough time has passed, and this is actually possibly one of the best series running in current Shonen Jump, if not current weekly manga in general. And with that being the case, I'm leaning toward, we're really eating. And of course, it does help that right now, what used to, at least in my opinion, what used to be its original comp Sakamoto days, ain't comp right now. It's simply not comp right now. So ultimately, Kagurabachi's low-key taking my top spot as the manga I look most forward to reviewing. And now you may be like, Pencil Man, then why are you reviewing it so late? Oh, just again, I said there are circumstances. And obviously I do still really like reviewing other manga. Like, I really like reviewing Four Knights just because my connection to that duology. I really like reviewing Each of the Witches because I think it's peak. And I think the art's fantastic. I love the characters in that story. And Kagurabachi, man, it's just so good. But let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 85, since we do have 2 reviews to do today. Chapter 85, Open. Okay, so we're once again really going into the idea of Samura legitimately refusing to open his eyes to the future out of fear of possibility, and notably fear of the past. And then you know what? I really like how Samura's fear of the past is being multi-layered here, right? Notably, this being used as the callback to the idea of Samura not wanting to open his eyes to acknowledge the past, but at the same time, it's not allowing him to acknowledge the present and by proxy the future, is Iori crying in bed over the current state of her life due to Samura's previous actions. And the reason that hits is because we know this whole scenario happened based on the actions that Samura took previously back in the war, which all ties back to the Shaku and specifically Yura and how he spread out all the information about them. So ultimately, this is a twofold idea of the past, because this is the past haunting Iori, which was caused by Samura, and now Iori is haunting Samura. And this memory is haunting Samura in the present, which is preventing him from opening his eyes in the present to look towards the future. Sometimes, I mean often, Hokuzono Sensei is just hook. Let's see. Oh, but you know what? A lot of people said he's probably just gonna heal, or he's gonna heal Tobimune with Suzaku, and I'm so mad I didn't think about that. Somebody tells me he's gonna do the exact same thing here, because I still don't think it'd be an actual good idea to remove Tobimune from the narrative this early. But at the same time, if they do get Samura on their side, the one thing I'm worried about is, how is the Yushaku gonna stand a chance, dog? How are they gonna? How's my glorious King Hakurei gonna get anything? Let's see. It cracked. That proves it. Now, I'll destroy the Shinichi with this power. So. Father, Suzaku. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't click to me. Like we literally ended last chapter talking about Suzaku and Chihiro being about to use it. And obviously, someone himself was spamming. Why did I not think of him just healing the blade? And this works extra well because, you know, the blades are tied directly into the wielders. So obviously an ability that can be used by the blade to heal the user can be used by the user to heal the blade. No duh, but I do like that. He immediately heals it. He fixes it instantaneously, even though the crack does form. And honestly, hold on, since I may be going way too deep into this, I know they're gonna be like, oh, here goes Pencil Man, looking for unnecessary reasons to glaze, and hey, guilty as charged. But with it being the case, I like the idea that not N10, gosh darn it, Toimune in of itself is sort of, in spite of its evolution, by the way, in spite of its evolution, we know Suzaku and really Crow, all of its abilities and the blade itself have evolved drastically through Samura, and Samura himself has evolved, even though they haven't actually interacted all that long and so long. But, oh, he's actually missing his beard detailing here, at least I think so. But with that being the case, I like how the blade in of itself, the source of all of his guilt in a way, and then the source of his motivation, and his power to fulfill his current motivation, is also sort of a remnant of the past that's holding Samura back as it carries him forward, right? Because we know Samura is only moving forward with his plan to destroy the Swordmaster and the Shinichi and all that, and slaughter and then revive all the Enchanted Blade Wielders, literally is because of the past and the guilt he feels, the guilt they should all feel based on what they did in the war. But at the same time, it's that guilt that is driving him forward. And Toimune, the embodiment and source of that guilt, is also driving him forward. So, just as he cannot open his eyes, he cannot let the blade break. He cannot really acknowledge or look forward any further, because doing so, allowing Toimune to break, allowing the source and strength of his guilt to shatter, would break him, his current motivation, and would force him to acknowledge Chihiro. And really, the future in of itself. So, let's see. He healed the blade. Grow. Ooh, okay. Once again, though, I do genuinely wonder, and this is one thing I do. I'm not necessarily always wonder in most series, but it is pretty common. What is this man's energy limit? Like even Chihiro seems to struggle, and I mean struggle, to lose energy. Like, I don't know when we've seen it before when he's like been exhausted, but it's usually post the battle. I feel like we've never seen Chihiro really run out of spirit energy. And same thing with Summer, man. This guy is spamming ability after ability after ability after ability after ability, and has been spamming them since he showed up, not like 15 chapters ago. And he is just fine. And like, once again, he presumably needs to manually spawn all these feathers, actively sense all of them, and teleport in between them. That is crazy amounts of awareness and stuff like that. But then again, he did fight an entire war, so presumably his spirit energy reserves are huge, but still, man, jeez. Let's see. A mass of feathers. Hey, we can't see anything. I thought you guys didn't need to rely on sight, though. You're the Musume, right? Like, your whole thing is that you don't actually need sight. It's just one of the senses that you use to adjust. Let's see. Well, you know, he may not be saying, we can't see anything as in, we're cooked. But he's like, we can't see anything as in, oh no, he has infinite options. And he took away one of ours. Let's see. This is the same... Oh, this is the same thing I use against Kurohiko. Ah, right. The idea of overfilling the area with his spirit energy in order to allow him to essentially do whatever he wanted with the endless stream of goldfish. Let's see. He fixed the crack, but won't open his eyes. He'd rather pretend to not see. A path to live. See, and you know what? I do kind of... And that is one, like, pseudo-soft critique I've seen about Kagurabachi. Its themes are very blatant. It's almost, and I keep going back to this because once again, I'm still heavily Delta pilled. I will probably never actually play Undertale or Deltarune, but I'm heavily Delta pilled. But this is very Toby Fox coded in the sense of like, hey, buddy, pal, amigo, subtext is for the weak. I'm gonna tell you the themes if you can't get it. Because obviously, I am praising the writing of Samura and his inability to see the future. But clearly, if you're not getting it, Chihiro last chapter and this chapter is specifically pointing out how the symbolism of him remaining blind is symbolism and thematic. Not just, you know, like a literal thing he cannot do. Like, it's built into the narrative to show you this point. And presumably the whole idea, if Chihiro manages to win this battle, it's very specifically in order to allow him to force Samura to heal himself, open his eyes, and see the future, right? So the thematic and the main narrative are mixing really, really heavily. And I know some people don't like that. I know some people really don't like when an author will sort of slap the themes on the table and tell you to look at them. Personally, though, as a person who is not the sharpest spoon in the kitchen shed, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I do think it takes a level of bravery, right? Like, as a creator, to have ideas and messages you want to push, especially through certain characters, such as Samura, obviously, in this case. And you definitely can always gamble and sort of leave it up to the reader's interpretation. I think a lot of Magi, in particular, and I know you're going to be like, Magi? Really? Why not Bleach? Bleach is a little bit different. Sometimes it smacks its themes right on the table. I think very specifically the end of Bleach as an idea of people just being like, here, eat it. But with Manga, a lot of its thematic elements are kind of like, if you aren't looking for them, you won't find them. And while I think that is a good thing, it always gives you like more to find on a reread. In terms of like thematic understanding of the story, it does drop a little bit because it's not as blatant. For something like this, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have it so clear cut. Especially because with it being so clear cut for the characters in universe, it only further doubles down the character strength of Samura, even if that strength is being highlighted in a bad way, considering he's not willing to look towards the future. So the perk of having your themes hidden is that it gives more enrichment value to a narrative and will allow you to reread it and absorb it more. But the value of being upfront and blatant with your themes is not only will everyone understand them, but then people can interpret them differently. I think of Toby Fox, once again, in terms of Undertale, and the many different ways people interpret its narrative themes and what the game is trying to say. Even same thing with Deltarune so far, even though that game is incomplete. And I think the same thing with Kagurabachi is happening here and now. With Hokuto Sensei smacking the themes on the table and being like, do what you will, we're doing what we will with it. I've seen people have positive opinions of Samura and his ideology. I've seen people have negative opinions. I've seen people analyze the thematics of Samura and his ideology and what the narrative is saying about it in back and forth positive and good ways and what it really should mean because of the complications of it. I think that's good. Even if the themes are blatant, they're not clear cut. How you should feel about them aren't clear cut. And I think that's the balance you need to strike. If you're going to smack your themes on the table, make it nice, meaty, easy, and juicy to understand, then allow them to still be complex. Once again, every single thematic relevant conflict we've had, such as legacy, family, guilt, all of them are complicated. From Sojo to Kiora to now Samura, we've had a variety of very clear thematic elements laid forth in Kagurabachi, but you can interpret them in a bunch of different ways. That's the whole point of the narrative. Here's what I want to talk about. What do you think about it? And that's some good stuff. Let's see. Okay. Kuro. Just like Samura. Oh. I'm guessing this is the narrator. Just like Samura, Chihiro uses spirit energy to flood the space. The air is dark with a mix of feathers and goldfish. Only the two of them can detect their surroundings through spirit energy. Okay. So, when Moku... Masumi. I know it's Moku... Oh, no, this guy's name is just Ro. I think it's just Ro. But when Ro said, we can't see anything, he literally, like, ultimately by doing this, they literally drowned out all their senses. Only the two of them can detect their surroundings. So it's not that just their senses are gone. I forgot, yeah, the goldfish and feathers are, like, actually tangible. And presumably, I'm not sure if they smell, but I'm assuming they would block any smells out from reaching you. And if you're consistently being touched, your sensories is going to be off anyway. So this massive cloud actually is a fantastic way to suppress basically all senses and even render the Masumi useless. Which actually is a good move from Samura in order to make sure that they, the main hard counter to him, cannot hard counter him in this moment. And once again, it's going to force Chihiro and Samura into a one-to-one confrontation, which I do think is the core of all this. But just the two of them. Once again. I gotta stop saying once again. Furthermore, Hokuto Sensei's art, is it the greatest? In terms of, like, dynamism, I'd say, like, Kagurabachi has really good dynamism. Really good dynamism, I will admit. It still is technically beat up by Sakamoto Days, but that's because Suzuki Sensei is a monster. Like, and I say this in a positive way only. Suzuki Sensei of Sakamoto Days fame is a monster. So the dynamism there beats it just a little bit, like a teeny tiny bit. But I do love how Hokuto Sensei's art allows for this much. It feels, this is gonna sound weird, it feels like almost tangible in a way. Maybe like pencil, what on earth does that mean? But it feels like I can almost touch the art, right? Like the emotions that it's trying to portray, kind of like the themes, they're so like blatant and laid out. The serenity yet the loneliness and determination in both of these characters is so well portrayed by this drawing. Two men with their eyes closed, one closed by their own doing permanently, the other closed by their own focus and determination. Both men standing in an open field, even though they are shrouded in darkness, moving forward to describe their own ideals. The art does such a fantastic job of portraying what this conflict is at its core that I feel like I can touch it. It's... How do I put this? Oh, actually, I do have a really good example, because earlier I had pizza as an appetizer for dinner, or at least I had some pizza slices. And typically, whenever I bite into pizza, it's usually airy. Like I get it, it has a good taste to it, but it's very light and fluffy. But the pizza I had earlier was very thick. It was a margarita pizza. I'm not sure if that has like any reason to why it's thicker. But because it's thicker, I almost like I could have more taste. It was more solid to chew, and it felt more tangible. And that's how I feel about this art and how it uses itself to portray the narrative in comparison to some other manga. Where even if the art is fantastic, you will always hear me slop off Suzuki Sensei, Nakaba Suzuki Sensei, Ichi the Witch Artist, come to my mind, please. Shiro Uzazaki Sensei. You will hear me glaze a bunch of other mangaka to eternity and forevermore. Yusuke Nomura, and notably Yusuke Nomura is also really, really good at making the art feel tangible, but that's another story for another time. that aside. But there is this level of disconnect. It's still good, it's still delicious, I still feel connected to it. But almost everything about what Hokuzono wants to say, I feel like I get it through the art. It tastes good. I've lost the plot on this analogy so much. Let's keep going. Let's see. Currently, Chihiro can use Akka to wield the crow. This field filled with spirit energy is their arena. They can both use crow to teleport anywhere within its bounds. Okay. Of course, though, it really becomes a question of who mixes who first? Who schmixes who first? It really is like straight fighting game conditions where whoever lands the first hit, they kind of win. Like, but then again, their motivations on landing that hit is completely different. Chihiro lands a hit, but he doesn't actually want to boom Samura. Samura lands a hit. He actually kind of wants to boom Chihiro, if only to separate him from N10 and then take N10 away and then leave Chihiro to himself. Let's see. I'll prove it as many times as I have to. Mr. Samura, you're not getting rid of me. And you know what? I like that. I really like how Chihiro is truly taking a hold of his own destiny, his own fate, his own logic, his own reasoning. He's truly grabbing it in his hands and be like, this is it. This is me. You're not, like, no matter what you do, you cannot convince me. You cannot change my mind. And it really is, it's cooking. It really is the determination of the future versus the determination of the past. A weird, twisted hope, guilt, vengeance, and determination against simply guilt and determination. Because, realistically, Chihiro is fighting to not only avenge his father, but to almost correct the legacy that was left behind. He is a mix of the guilt of the past and the focus of the future working together to move forward. Samura technically is also attempting to move forward, but solely driven by the guilt of the past, solely driven by himself and his abilities, solely driven. He is entirely by himself. He is isolated in a world that wishes to reconnect. And Chihiro, in a way, right now, is wishing to reconnect. So ultimately, considering this is a shonen manga, and if you look deep enough in almost any shonen out there, your friends are your power. The boy who's trying to connect will always triumph over the person who tries to stand alone. And that conflict, on top of the conflict of like past versus future and the freedom to choose versus an inability to choose, there's just so many layers that like, it's peak, man. It's peak. Let's see. We don't care how badly we get hurt. There's no way. It's okay. Oh? Okay, they're moving? And I like how both of them are keeping their eyes closed. Because, oh, well, obviously they're keeping their eyes closed because they can't see anything. And, you know, Samura has his eyes sealed. But Chihiro's keeping his eyes closed because all of their senses are blocked. Anyway, they can only interact through spirit energy. In fact, the fact that they can hear each other is actually very interesting. Let's see. And this is what I mean when I say Hokuzono's dynamism is it's nearly unmatched. And even then, I may have to do like a side-to-side comparison of Sakamoto Days and Kagurabachi. Because there's poses like this where I'm like, Hokuzono-sensei, what are they feeding you? Like, what are they feeding? Like, I'd love to redraw this. I may just do it. But with it being the case, every bit of interaction here, from Samura back wielding, and it looks like almost, like, who's blocking who? Right here, Samura's clearly on the offensive. Chihiro is blocking. You can see the blood bursting from his hand. But it's almost as if, as Chihiro went to block with the blade, he went to attack with the sheath. And I know you're gonna be like, Pencil, you're reading way too deep into this. And I know, but welcome to that guy with the pencil. I read too deep into stuff. Samura attacks with the intent to end. Thusly, he swings with the blade. Chihiro attacks with the desire to connect and move towards the future. Thus, he attacks with the sheath. Both, in their determination, do not allow the other to reach them. Chihiro via blocking with the blade, blocking with the intent to damage the future. Meanwhile, Samura blocks with the sheath, blocking the intent to connect with the solidity and sturdiness of the past. See what I'm saying? But notably, note how both are attacking and defending. Even though I still think Samura is definitely holding back here, to some degree. And obviously, he is stronger than Chihiro. The fact that both are attacking and defending, specifically with their respective weapons, Samura attacking with the blade due to his more malicious intent. Even though, that's the thing, it's not even malicious intent, it's just more focused intent. Meanwhile, Chihiro's attacking with the sheath with less intent. It's just so... You're already covered in wounds, even if you're determined, even if you have that power. But you can tell. He's already breaking out. He's already shaking a little bit. Let's see. It's agonizing, isn't it? Gripping the N10. As long as you go on wielding the sword, the pain will always be there. The enchanted blades and I are relics of a past you should put behind you. Enough! Let go! I'm sorry, there is my neighbors, they're holding a party, so if you hear Hispanic music in the background, that's that. But with that being the case, it is truly, and that is the debate. That's been the big debate around Summer, and it's why I think he's sort of transcended the manga in a sense, in a way I really, really like. It's the idea that people aren't exactly sure if Summer's wrong, right? It goes back to the classic idea, sins of the father, right? Should the child be judged by what their father has done? And ultimately, that's why I still agree with Chihiro and think Summer's incorrect. Because I see many other people interpreting it as Summer attempting to relieve Chihiro and relieve everyone else of the sins of the father, and even the sins of their past, right? In the case of the other enchanted blade wielders. He slaughtered but resurrected Ura, free from the enchanted blade. He's going to do that to the other ones, and then he's going to go slay the sword master to take care of everything, right? But I say the reason he's very specifically incorrect with Chihiro is because Chihiro has actively chosen this path. He has actively chosen to redefine his and his father's legacy, his bloodline's legacy, through his own actions. And he's simply asking Samura to help him with that, while at the same time asking Samura to help raise his daughter, which was the last request of his wife, which Chihiro doesn't even know about, right? We know that the last request of Samura's ex-wife was to raise Iori. Yet Samura went away from that path due to his own guilt. Once again, the whole reason he didn't want to be in Iori's life was because of that guilt before, but he came back anyway. So, Chihiro is right, and Samura is wrong, even if Samura does have a proper path, because not only is Samura staying blind to the future, the possibility of N10, and working alongside Chihiro to create a non-violent solution, or a slightly less non-violent solution, to the legacy and the future fate of the Enchanted Blades, but on top of that, he's wrong because he's using this guilt as an excuse to override the will of another full-grown adult. Chihiro is 18. And also deny the last request of his lost wife and the dear desires of his own daughter. Samura is wrong, but I can see why people think Samura is right because of the scenario laid out. And that's a good thing. Once again, it is always beautiful and good and hefty and delicious when you can see both sides of the argument and can respectfully acknowledge both sides, yet still choose. I'm telling you, it's gas. Let's see. And that's the thing. Samura's so focused on the past that he just refuses to see the future. Let's see. You two don't need to be tormented by the past. Interesting. It does look like Samura got a slight edge here, but it looks like they're about to have another interaction. And that's the stuff. And I would love to see Hokuzono's drawing process, because I always, in fact, this is actually a good example. For this one, it isn't really that good of an example. This item is really just based on me looking up a guy leaping backwards and trying to fit it to the contours of the page. This is a Spider Sona of mine versus Sukuna. I'm just drawing it for the love of the game. But this is really a case where I'm trying to draw it all in ink first, so I don't do what I typically do. But what I would typically do, before I were to draw an image like this, and this image isn't complete, but it may end up being just posted as work IP, or WIP, because I'm feeling a little bit lazy today. This is how I would typically do it. I would draw lines for this head, draw lines for the torso, and draw lines for where Sukuna's head is placed. And then there's going to be an arm here. That is what essentially the rest of Sukuna's body is going to go in this negative space right here, and this text will be locked off by a box locking off certain this, and I'm going to put more details here. But essentially, what I would do is I would draw guiding lines throughout, and then I would go over and draw. But once again, since I'm trying to challenge myself and solely draw in ink, I'm just doing the drawing from base because I can't erase ink. But for Hokuzono Sensei, what I wonder is, in order to get these super crazy dynamic poses, do they do what I do, and essentially would draw a line here to signify the hand, draw a line down to signify the rest of the arm, draw a line here to signify the shoulders, draw a line here to signify the arm, and essentially line sketch through everything and then overlay it with the actual body? Or is this just straight raw? Is this where they just go in and just whoosh? Because regardless, it's genuinely insane. It's the same reason I look at Suzuki Sensei's art so insanely and I glaze him to the moon and back, because genuinely the kind of stuff they produce off the top of their dome pieces is actually insane. Let's see. Okay, so this is Samura actually landing a blow on Chihiro. I can now tell because you can see he's sheathing the blade after slicing Tobimune down and taking an arc out of Chihiro. But let's take a look. Okay, and the feather's a spell. But we're looking at the beauty of this. Summer is stronger. Summer does technically win this clash, and it even seemingly bursts the feathers and the goldfish. But note how the cut, while clean, is shallow. To a relative degree, it is shallow. He's still... it's funny. And then that's the beauty of Summer's character, right? The ever undying contradiction. On one level, he wants to acknowledge the future. He wants to protect it. He wants it to grow and develop in its own way. That's his whole motivation. You two don't need to be tormented by the past. You two don't need to suffer like this. This isn't your problem. And you can tell he believes that down to his core for the fact that he does not more drastically harm Chihiro when he very easily could. If we're being honest, Summer could diff Chihiro if he really needed to or if he really wanted to, but he doesn't. Because innately in his core, he doesn't want to. He still wants to support and uphold the future. But the future is technically still unable to reach him. Or at least this part of the future. And this is why I think Yori's still going to have to play a bigger part. So let's see. Rustle. The feathers are falling. Iori. Oh. Is that Ro, I think? Only Iori. Oh, no, maybe that's, No. I think that is Ro. Iori. Only I have to disappear alone. Oh, okay. Is this him giving her a sword? Maybe, because I don't know where she did have a katana, didn't she? I was like, only I have to disappear along with the past. But see, this is the thing. It's that inability to acknowledge that two things can be true. It's the inability to recognize the dichotomy. Summer, you are a bad man who's done bad things. That doesn't mean you can avoid or release yourself from those bad things by destroying yourself when you have an option otherwise that allows you to stay in the world for those people who need you. Right? Like that's my thing. And it goes back to, and it's interesting because there was a live that I was trying to join earlier, but I just couldn't, so I was just talking in chat. Endeavor, as a character from My Hero Academia. He is a character who, in my opinion, is based in atonement, not redemption. I don't think Endeavor is forgiven or should be forgiven for the terrible things he did. But, at the same time, I don't think Endeavor should have just boomed himself. I think Endeavor, as he did in the main narrative, should work to atone for the rest of his days. Bring as much value for others out of his life as he physically can. And that's what Samura should be doing for his daughter and the world, rather than simply just booming himself. Of course, he's still bringing value out. He's destroying the Enchanted Blade contracts and stuff like that. But not only is this solution more impermanent and could just lead to the Enchanted Blades ending up in the wrong hands, but also it technically absolves him of his guilt. It removes him from the narrative before he could finish writing it. And that's not good. That's taking the quote-unquote easy way out. So, Samura is wrong. Let's see. I'm going to be a swordsmith. From now on, live your own life. I love this play, though. The swapping with the goldfish, the one goldfish that remained. Oh, wait, is that goldfish meant to be this one right here? Because this looks like a goldfish. All the rest of this looks like feathers. Let's see. Actually, no. This seems to be a goldfish right here. Let's see. Swaps out. Interesting. So he swaps out full body here. But then again, we know he can teleport just the Enchanted Blade or himself. Or both. And he teleports both here. Oh, the goldfish. Ripping the sword. I already am. And that's the thing right there. Sama refuses to acknowledge that Chihiro's living this way because he wants to. He only thinks Chihiro is living this way because Chihiro believes he has to. Chihiro chose this path, but Samura's not letting him choose. Just like he's not letting himself look into the future. I'll tell you, let's see. I already am. All I'm doing is living as the best I can. Talk that talk. Up here, doing the dash, making it go fast? It's because I'd rather... Wait. It's because I have a past I'd rather die than forget. Interesting. And technically, Summer's the same way. Funny enough. The parallels between Summer and Chihiro do go crazy. I want to be... I want to be like you, so I can protect everyone too. That's right, talk that talk, Iori. I can fight with you. There's nothing I want to throw away. Even if it hurts, I'll trample all over it and keep moving forward. that, and notably, maybe the reason I like Kagurabachi so much is because it's pushing something that I also personally believe in. I always do believe in the idea that you should forever move forward. Ultimately, stagnation doesn't mean death. Ultimately, as long as you're still alive, you're still progressing. But willing stagnation, or willingness, or an unwillingness to evolve, essentially, is sort of a death without death, if you will. A stasis. A stasis that will never progress might as well be death, in my opinion. So I do love that Kagurabachi's narrative is about acknowledging the past, respecting it, knowing what came within it, and acknowledging its wrongs, but working with the past in the present for the future. And no matter what happens, no matter how much it hurts, no matter where these things come from, in the past, you cannot stay there. You cannot stay in an eternal stasis. You cannot allow yourself to be chained by it. You must simply use it as a stepping stone towards the future. And that fits my own life philosophy so much that it's just let's see, keep moving forward. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, never mind. This is still Chihiro speaking. There's nothing I want to throw away. Even if it hurts, I'll trample over all of it. Oh, but these words align so much with Iori and Samura both. And keep moving forward, no matter how long it takes. Let's see. Oh, but look at how he hesitates. He doesn't want to do it. Oh, Samura, you're such a goaty character. No, you're such a goaty character. Let's see. Iori runs in between. Hey. Oh, okay. This is a double spread. Darn, man. The detail on this eye. Let's see. Oh, he's tweaking. He's shadily tweaking right now. Hold on. Hey, when are you going to let go of the past and look toward the future? Yeah, I know. I already tried that. But in the future where I exist, Iori. That's the thing, though. He's so focused on what could be the future that he can't acknowledge the actual future in front of him. And notably, fear of the future definitely is a scary thing. I'm never gonna sit here and say, oh, don't worry about the future. The future is dangerous and unknown. Every single second of the future is never guaranteed. But at the same time, the thing about the future is you sort of have to live it in order to experience it. And if you live a life of consistent fear, you might as well not live at all. In a way. Though I do understand there are limitations and reasons behind why people live the way that they do. In my own personal philosophy, in my own personal life, I do believe that you cannot fear the future, but you must be prepared for it, and you must hope for a good future. High hopes, low expectations, always be prepared to move forward no matter what. Let's see. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to look after her. That's it. And it goes back to why I said Samura at his core is incorrect. And it looks like maybe Samura himself is realizing this now. And I'm wondering if it is through simply the sensing of Iori or Chihiro's words finally reaching him. Let's see. Or maybe actually it's probably both. So even in the past, he opened the door. See, that's the thing I do love. At his core, Samura always did want to look towards the future, but he let the past weigh down on him so much that he kept those eyes closed. But you can see, even in the past, he was thankful for what the future desired. Iori, thank you for protecting me. Gives her the hug. Let's see. It's Pete. Man, I wish I reviewed this chapter when it dropped. I think it just busted. Now the whole room's white. Now it's beneath the camera. Don't worry. That's gonna be it's sticky everywhere, man. Gosh darn it, man. Oh, this is so Pete. Let me hop right into chapter 86 now. But let me give this its due praise, right? That's the only thing that's unfortunate about the double reviews. When there's something like this in the first review, I do immediately want to hop into the second chapter because I've already been here for 35 minutes. I don't want this review to be like 3 hours long. And this is why I was tempted to wait to do a triple review because literally at the time of recording, the next chapter is going to drop tomorrow. But I was like, I cannot let it be a triple review considering where we are in the narrative. I need to start reviewing this now. Let's see. You've really... Oh, but ooh, interesting. He healed his eyes, but some of the scars still linger. The scars of him blinding himself. I actually do think that's good. I think if he lost the scars themselves, it would represent the past completely leaving him. But if he still has the scars on his eyes or around his eyes, it shows that the past is still there. It's still inflicted on him. But it's not blinding him anymore. I like it. Let's see. You've really grown up. Why, thank you. Let's go on to chapter 86. Yeah. Up. Chihiro, you good? You good? You good, buddy? Yeah. Oh, man, he's not good. Code Red. Code Red, our boy is not good. Kagurabachi. What? Oh, chapter 86, quickening. All right. Iori? Ugh, everything's blurred. Yo, okay. What I mentioned last chapter, I don't actually think we've ever seen Chihiro run out of energy mid-fight. Clearly, he was talking that talk, but he could not actually back it up. He was actually genuinely running out of juice here, but that's good. I think that's a good thing. Obviously, there's another case of Chihiro having just enough energy to finish a battle, but still, good that he had just enough energy to finish the battle, because it truly is the combination of him and Iori, the future, grabbing Samura out of the past and bringing him to the present. I like it. Let's see. Oh, okay, so there it is. With the full power Nishiki and the borrowed firepower of Suzaku, I finally managed to... Oh, interesting. So he used Suzaku offensively rather than defensively. So that went into the crack. That's why he didn't actually end up healing his hand there. Because we know Suzaku can be used offensively as like a burning flame, like a phoenix. But at the same time, I was wondering why we didn't see any fire at all, because it was all focused into the blade, allowing for that one crack. Even so, it's just a crack, a mere glimpse. Oh. But I like that. Chihiro, even though he's been talking all this talk and has been focused on, dude, I can do it, old man. Let me cook. He still acknowledges that he has so far to go. And it is true, right? Ultimately, the main issue here is that Chihiro still is not on Samura's level. And while I kind of, now I'm going to say, wow, as if, I don't think it'll happen, but maybe it will. It is almost digi-destined for the Swordmaster to get the Shinichi back in their hand. Sorry, I kept calling them the Sword Saint. They're just the Swordmaster. I don't know where I got Sword Saint from. I think it's like from Saint Seiya or something. Like someone mentioned, Pencil, wrong series. I don't even think I read the series that they mentioned it from. Where did I get Sword Saint from? I don't know. That didn't even seem to be like a Thorn Soul Bulb thing that happened in Boruto, where like they did call it Thorn Soul Bulb, but then just started calling it Thorn Bulb. No, I just came with Sword Saint out of nowhere. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know like some series that do have a Sword Saint. Kagurabachi's not one of them. He's just a Swordmaster. But the Swordmaster, he's going to get the Shinichi back in his hand, right? Like, he's going to be a major antagonist, if not final boss, but I feel like not final boss. I feel like he's going to be a major antagonist. I still think Yura is going to be the final boss. Somehow, he's going to get his hands on Shinichi, too. But, with that being the case, with Chihiro still not being at the level to even properly break Tobimune, while Samura is heavily morally conflicted, and he's already stealing powers and stacking them on top of each other in order to just land a tiny crack, yeah, Chihiro still has a long way to go before he can probably even tickle the Swordmaster. And I still think he's weaker than every proper Enchanted Blade wielder. I don't think he's probably surpassed the original wielder of Cloud Gouger or the original wielder of any of the Enchanted Blades. I don't think he's surpassed Uruha in sort of sword skill or even his power with the Enchanted Blade. And right now, even though my glorious legendary baby boy Hirohiko is out of commission, he still is alive. Meaning, even if they were to give Kumayuri back to Uruha, because I believe Samura does have it right now. Yeah, because I remember specifically my glorious legendary handsome king. Oh, I'm forgetting his name. I am the Orochimaru voice. Essentially, the Ishaku admitted that they lost Kumayuri. So Samura does have it right now. But at the same time, it's not like Uruha can wield it. So, if the Sword Saint, it's actually just called the Sword Saint again, if the Swordmaster does get his hands on Shinichi, like I feel like it's a Chekhov's gun. Like, he's gonna get it. He's so close to it. But, with it being the case, if he gets it back, Chihiro's not ready to fight him. Because it would be him and Samura all alone, maybe with like Uruha providing support and Haku's providing some support, versus the Swordmaster. And remember, it took all 5 of the other sword wielders, the Enchanted Blade wielders, who were extremely experienced with their weapons, ganking him to not even boom him, but to very specifically just beat him. And if Samura's undergone this much evolution without touching Tobimune in years, I can't imagine just how powerful the Swordmaster has become in their current state. So, yeah, Chihiro acknowledging his own weakness and his own inability. And look at that. It's hardly proof that I can destroy the Shinichi. It's not enough. I'm not there yet. Yeah. Yeah, he's cooked. He's about to pass out. But he's right. And that does give me hope, because I want Kagurabachi to be longer. I'm very scared of Kagurabachi's leg, but I feel like it can be longer. Mainly because Chihiro, he has so much further to go. And maybe Samura will end up as a mentor. But of course, this does lead to the question, how is this going to work now? If Samura truly, he's opened his eyes, he's acknowledging the future, he's still just a little too busted to running around right now. Like, he should genuinely still diff a majority of these chakras, just since their pinky promise is now broken. So we need something in order to justify Samura being on the protagonist side, and I don't want that to be booming Samura anyway after he just learned his lesson. I do want him to exist and live, kind of, once again, very much like Endeavor. Let's see. Oh. Oh, that's sweet. Samura teleports, catches Chihiro, activates Suzaku, presumably heals Chihiro, heals Ro, and no, he doesn't just heal Ro in the damage he took, but he also heals his glasses. Oh, Mr. Samura. Up. Yep, Chihiro's hand gets healed. Chihiro himself gets healed. His vision comes back, and he sees Samura with open eyes. Why is he so... Yo. Why is Samura so handsome, dog? why is this man so... And perfect. He did heal his eyes, but the scars of his blindness, essentially, the weight of the past still is upon him. He's able to look towards the future now that he has open eyes, but the scars still did remain. Good stuff. Good stuff, Hokuto Sensei. That's how you speak thematics through character design. I'm loving it. Let's see. Mr. Samura, your eyes. Even Chihiro was like, whoa. Wait, I thought I was about to pass out and get boned. And you were going to take Enten from me. You chilling? We actually gang now? Hallelujah, because I still ain't strong enough. Let's see. You wore me down. It's clear you'll die before you release your grip on that sword. And he did. And I think I'm lagging. Hold on. And we're back. You know, the funny thing is, I can't tell. It's always hard for me to tell because I hear things a whole lot clearly. I literally have my mic facing away from the window, which is where the music is coming from. But I can hear the music very clearly because my ear is facing towards the window. So I'm not sure how much the mic is picking up the Hispanic music, but it's there. And I can't lie, they're playing bangers. But the main thing I'm worried about isn't even the fact that it's going to appear in the video. I'm afraid it's going to get copyright struck. Because Kagurabachi is the one series on the channel that I've been copyright struck twice so far. I've just fought the strikes and won both of them because I haven't broken fair use laws, I swear. But now I'm worried about that in the background. If it comes through loud enough and it gets picked up by the mic, I'm worried that somehow, even though I'm going to overlay my own music and I'm consistently yapping, the boy's going to get in trouble. But let's hope not. Let's see. It's clear you'll die before you release your grip on that sword, just like you did last time. I can't let it go because of the memories associated with my father. Yep. Once again, he's choosing not to let it go. He says he can't let it go, but he literally could let it go and put it down. But he's choosing to. This isn't the sins of the father. This is the father choosing to uphold and change the legacy of his father by his own free will, using a tool he forged with his father of his own free will. That's the thing. That's the juicy difference. Let's see. You forged it together. Rokuhira, you were trying to forge a future together. See, once again, it's the Toby Fox of it all, smacking the themes on the table. Straight up whipping it out, bam, smacking it, wiggling around, and being like, what do you think about him? And I love him. I love the thematic use here. But now that he's opened his eyes, he's like, oh, I get it now. Both of you forged it together. Even in spite of the pain of the past, you worked together to forge something that could fix the pain of the past for the future. An enchanted blade to destroy the enchanted blades, and use it to destroy the Shinichi, huh? You'll use it to destroy the Shinichi, huh? I know there's still a way to go, but I'll get there, no matter what. That's the thing, Chiro. He is just standing on business, dog. Yes, this is just the start. I get it. And that's the thing, now that he's actually willing to hear Chihiro. Before he was listening, but he wasn't. He was hearing, but he wasn't listening. And notably, I love my dad. My pops, fantastic guy. But he is also a very serial listener, but not hearing you. He will acknowledge what you say, but then completely not process it. It'll go in one ear, it'll stay and bounce around up there, and sometimes it'll go out or it won't go out, but he'll just won't realize what you meant when you said it. And it'll be very basic stuff too. Admittedly, he passed a little bit of that on to me. Your boy does be struggling with basic stuff sometimes. But now that Summer has opened his earlobes up a bit, he's like, all right, yeah, you look, you spin. Yeah, you spin right now. He's able to see what he once heard for what it meant rather than what it could mean. And I like that. Let's see. Your swordplay has come a long way. Oh, that's nice. And of course, he's talking about when he first met Chihiro all those years ago. Let's see. Turning towards the light. Rokuhira, I'll follow your example. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I like that. I like that. With the Enten, you can do this, Chihiro. I do wonder though, Will getting his eyes back be a buff or a nerf? Like, will he have to get used to having eyes again? Like, I can't imagine a person getting so used to being blind, spontaneously getting their vision back. Like, it's a cool thematic thing. Like, is he gonna be okay? Will that actually enhance his abilities anymore, or will it make him weirder now? I don't know. Let's see. Mice. Oh, that's nice. Oh, Chiro, you gentleman. My swordplay improved, thanks to your daughter. There she is, Iori. And Summer's like, oh yeah, whoops. You know, I did say you grew up a whole lot. But I also really haven't looked at you in, like, years. Let's see. Hey, you've kept... I like how he's sweating. Like, he just doesn't really know how to interact with his daughter. And that's the thing, right? I don't know. It would be... It's a really hard scenario for Summer. It's not an easy thing to transition back into. So I don't blame him for being, like, a little bit awkward. Like, you've, kept up your training since then? Actually, I don't think she did. She was literally all old muscle memory because her memories of you were wiped, dog. Let's see. Excuse me? Look at this sweat drops, bro. Seriously? I've grown up? Duh! You abandoned me for years! Well... You wouldn't know if I kept up my training? It's none of your bit- Wait, Yori, chill. Yori, chill. I mean, obviously, he did abandon you for years. But still, you want him back. And be happy that he's back. At least a little bit. It's none of your business! Oh, I'm sorry. She punched him straight in the gut. Oh. I don't forgive you. All this time. Delicious. The best ever. My memories of Mom's last smiles. Of the three of us together. I couldn't even remember forgetting. Yeah, so she doesn't actually. She's mad at her dad. And that is, and no, wow, that's crazy now I think about it. Because both Ichi the Witch and Kagurabachi are both aligned with the idea of memories being taken away. And the sadness of them being taken away, but also the positive that comes with the sadness based on what was taken away. But yeah, that is the case, right? Ultimately, I always go back to the idea that life in general is a duality, right? There are blessings and curses. And one of the biggest blessings yet curses of human life and the beauty of happiness in particular is in order to know you're happy, you must know what it means to be sad. If someone was happy all the time, they probably wouldn't even be able to realize it. That would be their neutral, because they never have the low to go with the high. If you're high all the time, you're just normal. That sounds bad. Not in not in psychedelics way, but like in general way. If you're always at the top of your game, you never know what it means to be at the bottom. Same case for positive and negative memories. Ultimately, I can think of people and things I've lost, but I only feel sad about them because they once made me feel so happy. And in a way, they still do, even if they are gone now, even if these things have changed. I would never give up those memories for anything, even if there's a sadness that sits in my heart that will forever sit in my heart as long as I'm still alive. I'm not going to give that up because there's still so much good with that bad. And one of the biggest lessons in life is learning to cope with that, I think. The idea that ultimately there will be sadness, there will be despair, there will be things that you just don't really want to give up. You don't want to experience, you don't want to hold. But you have to hold them in order to get everything that comes with holding them. It really is a rough thing, this beautiful thing we call life. Let's see. Oh, and she goes back to cry, just in her father's arms again. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, you know, that's extra sad for Chiro. Because once again, we don't know Chiro's mom. We have no idea where his mother is, or even her kid. Like, we know she's probably dead, but like, we don't know anything about his relationship with his mom. But in this case, Iori got a reunion. Obviously, her mother's gone too, but she got her happy reunion with her father. She can actually hug and interact with him and like exist with him. But Chiro, he's carrying on his father's legacy because that's all he has. He only has the legacy. He only has the memories. There will never be a case where he could hug his father, Kunishige, ever again. So there's a clear sadness in these eyes. But of course, he still smiles. He's still happy to see that even if he cannot hug his father, even if he cannot reconnect, someone was able to. Someone was able to go to the place that he couldn't reach anymore. And that brings him joy, even if it does come with a hefty and clear sense of sadness. Let's see. Jeez, I'm really intruding, right? Yeah, it's obvious. Well, actually, low-key, dog, I forget your name, but you did kind of clutch up. Moku's a G for carrying you. You did actually kind of go crazy here. Let's see. Huh? No, this would have ended entirely differently without you. And yeah, honestly, Sumi's right here. She actually has spin. Let's see. You're the MVP. Well, I would say all that, but it's very important. Very important. Let's see. I owe you all. I owe you all an apology too. Oh, we have a bone to pick with you for sure. But Iori already slugged you, so we're good for now. Oh, that's so. They're ninjas, and they've read everything in the library. But they're man. I love the Masumi, man. Please don't die. But we are really stacking the cards in the protagonist's hands right now. Something needs to happen to make the narrative balanced again. Because if Samura truly is on Shihiro's side now, that means we have 2 enchanted blades, while the Ishaku still has 0 functional ones. We still have the other possible sword bearers who can come back. We have Uraha, we have Hakuri, we have the Masumi. Like, Iori, if she decides to keep fighting alongside Samura, we are looking a little too stacked right now. So something bad has to happen. Everything's going a little bit too right. Let's see. We're good for now. So, ready to gamble on the future? Yes, he is. Yes, but first of all, even if Chihiro handles the eternal contracts, we still have to deal with the Ishaku and the other enchanted blades, and the Kabunabi traders. But then again, I feel like once you get into the Ishaku, the Kabunabi traders kind of get dealt in with that. And the other enchanted blades, you can just break them. Like who gonna stop you? As long as you find them, you can break them. Let's see. All that stuff the pack was gonna cover is a wash. Yep, because he did break it. Let's see. Or they broke it first. Technically it was Haku who broke it first. There are a few things that need tidying up. Ah, yes, the Ishaku. Let's get on with it. Huh? We've just received this notice. The Ishaku are ambushing the Kabunabi headquarters. Look at you, looking mad drippy. Let's see. What are they thinking? Are the Ishaku trying to kill the Swordmaster without an enchanted blade? Did they intend to subvert me from the start? No, this must have been their backup plan. Even so. But that's the thing, with it being a backup plan, I am wondering, how effective is it going to be? I mean, it really depends. They're all there. Everyone who's functional, at least. We know only 7 sorcerers are available, Yuri himself included, because presumably Toto... Oh, am I forgetting his name? He's so goated. I give him the Orochimaru voice. But Toto and Hirohiko, they're out of commission. Or not out of commission. Toto isn't a fighter. She's a teleporter. And very specifically, Hirohiko is out of commission and sort of having a mental breakdown right now. And also is weaponless and sorceryless. And we know that it's coming to me. It's a K name. No, I respect him too much not to Google his name. We're Googling it right now. Where is it? Hishaku, Kagurabachi. What is his name? Don't play with me. I'm forgetting it. Kuguri! I knew it was a K name. Kuguri. My brain was screaming Cure, but that's the antagonist. That's Hakuri's father. Kuguri. But Kuguri just wasted his sorcery, so he's back down to basics. He has nothing other than his swordplay, which probably just wouldn't be enough at the Kabunabi headquarters. Toto is just a teleporter, not a combatant. And my son is having a mental breakdown. So they're down 3 useful sorcerers. So it's really those 7 and the traders versus the entire Kabunabi. And now Samura, plus Hakuri, plus Uraha, plus Chihiro, plus the Masumi, plus the... I don't think... Something has to happen. Let's see. Mr. Samura, if we can clear the board now, then can we talk about what comes next? You know what? I do like that Chihiro's still on time, though. He's like, alright, I am extremely tired, and you did break almost every single bone in my body, including my hands. But we still gotta run smoke. Let's see. An ambush on headquarters. There must be informants on the inside. But I like how Samura, that experience and that clarity and battle readiness and battle mindedness is still there with him. Absolutely. He's on point. He's on ball. He has this information. He's immediately being like, okay, there's gotta be traders. Here's what we have to do. He's moving forward really, really fast, which I like. Let's see. Right. It'll be a huge step forward. I have no intention of carrying... And that goes to the idea I mentioned earlier. The idea that at its core, Kagurabachi still is a shonen manga. And by proxy, friends are your power. And you don't do things alone. So, I like that. Let's see. I have no intent... Oh, I'm sorry. I have no intention of carrying this alone. Toimune was originally crafted for support. Really? Actually, I can see that. With the teleporting and Suzaku and even... What's the third ability? What's the third ability I'm thinking of? Even the owl, which is mainly used for surveillance and teleportation. I can actually see how Toimune was definitely built for support. Especially if it can be used to teleport other people. Right? Like, can Samura, if a person agrees... Could he, teleport them to any of his feathers? Or even if he just acts as, a sort of Goku instant transmission thing, or, Supreme Kai thing where he can just grab somebody who touched his feathers and teleport them with him to someplace else. I can never see how Tomimune could go crazy. Let's see. I need you to use your powers to heal the injuries I'm going to incur. He's like, dog, I low-key need to turn you into a heal bot. And I get it. Summer probably would be a really good heal bot, but like, I'm trying to think of why am I struggling right now to come up with like a Fire Emblem character that is typically reduced to a heal bot. I'd be like, don't use him as a heal bot, use him as like everything but a heal bot. On top of, use everything, not just the healing abilities. Essentially, Micaiah from Fire Emblem Engage. And they'd be like, but Micaiah's an emblem. Yeah, but a lot of people just use Micaiah for heal botting at first because that seems to be her entire thing with Great Sacrifice. Do not use her just a heal bot. Use her as a magic support thing that allows you to double attack and go absolutely buku bonkers and load everybody. Let's see. To use your powers to heal the injuries I'm going to incur. Together, we'll take care of the Enchanted Blades and the Hishaku. Something has to happen. There's no way this is actually going to work out. Let's see. Together. That's a word you couldn't say. Boku. Boku's actually kind of goated. Let's see. You drop these. Ah, breaking up the sunglasses. Oh, and I wonder if funnily enough, this could be applied to both Chihiro and Sama, which is beautiful because Sama and Chihiro are such good parallels. Let's see. You drop these. The light's intense, right? Yeah, after unblinding yourself for the first time in years. You win. All of you. Yes. Oh, but even Sama's like, man, y'all know ball. Y'all know ball. Let's see. Oh? Oh? What is this? What is it? What is it? What is this? Oh, are we gonna get a flashback? Wait a minute. Are we cooking? Because this has to be, if this is what I think it is, and yep, this is Uruha right here, and I believe that's Kumeyuri. Are we gonna get a flashback to the battle against the Swordmaster? Because here's Kumeyuri and Uruha. Here's Tobimune and Samurai and all his feathers scattered about. Here's Cloud Gouger and its wielder, who I don't ever think got a name before, but they look real metal. And then I'm assuming that's the woman sword wielder that we saw before, and that's the big bulky guy who had like a hat that we saw before. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the Swordmaster, who's going absolutely crazy. As long as he's manipulating reality. Okay, are we gonna get let's go. Or is he? This is the Swordmaster. Okay. What did I said we needed something to happen. Everything was going a little bit too good. And I did say, ultimately, I believed he was going to get the Shinichi back. Let's take a look. Kaminobi headquarters. Lowest level. Monitor room. The upper levels are in chaos. So it seems. But nothing's amiss down here. Do you think he's picking up on this? You couldn't possibly. Wait. He's been locked away deep in this underground prison for 18 years. 18 years? Golly! The pills surrounding him are basically life support. They provide the organism inside with protection. With such minimal nourishment, he lacks the strength to even harm himself. Unable to budge, his existence consists of little more than watching time. But see, that makes me wonder, did they not see? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, alright, so they did see it, In the center of a prison of utter nothingness, he sat in complete stillness for 18 years. In all these years, he only once uttered a single word. Magatsumi. At 3:47 p.m. on November 8th of this year. The night of the Rakuzachi. When he took over Kiora from a range while he was wielding the Shinichi. So obviously, and he's moving. So yeah, he's been a lot more capable. Oh, that does make me wonder though. Is there gonna be a twist? Another twist? Did the Hishaku actually want the Swordmaster to be reunited with the Shinichi? Or will he actually be a third wildcard faction? Because obviously we have the Hishaku as their own group. Then we have Chihiro's main group. But if the Swordmaster, who's clearly enough... And honestly, that would work so well now that Samura's become one of the good guys, right? Because the beauty of Samura is that we did have 3 separate groups we could follow. We had the Hishaku, we had Samura, who's powerful enough to be a group on his own, and then we had Chihiro and the Masumi, and then Iori by proxy. But if the Swordmaster moves on his own now and becomes his own third antagonist group that everyone needs to deal with, we get back to that point, and hopefully it'll last a bit longer. I will admit, if I had one critique for Kagurabachi, it is a little bit of its pacing, because I feel like Samura should have acted as a third tertiary wild card a bit longer. Like, possibly, maybe like 10, 15 chapters more. Because it does feel like we went from, we're in complete danger because no one knows what Samura's going to do, to, okay, Samura's here, and now we're fixing him. But still, Let's see. The time. Wait. What voice did I give him? I can't give him the Orochimaru voice. Shoot! I need to give him... okay. We're almost at the end of the chapter, so I'm going to workshop his voice. Let's see. The time is nigh. Oh, no. Okay, we may be cooked. Because that's just Shinichi, right? It seals becoming undone? Uh-oh. Let's see. I'll take us there. There's no time to waste. The quickening. Let's see. Let's go to Tokyo. To be continued. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're cooked. We are hold on. A nice follow-up chapter to the last chapter. Iori getting her to do justice. Everyone reuniting with Samura. Them chatting, them figuring out the future. And the plot reconverging, essentially. We definitely diverted a bit from the plot. We separated into many different groups. But now we're going to converge back onto the Kaminabi headquarters. Presumably... Oh, what the heck was that? I'm back, man. Oh, sweet mother mercy. What was that? But... We definitely could still have, like, a technically dual plot, as in Hakuri's still going. We know Hakuri and Urahara are still their own party. So even though they're all going to be in the same place, they could still be in separate places. But Samura and Chihiro are going back to the Kaminabi headquarters with everybody, meaning we're all going to converge on the same spot. And I think we're going to get... It was animated, so I think I can go with this. We're going to get a battle against... the Swordmaster that's very similar to the battle against... I'm not going to say their name because I never say it properly. But the pseudo-deity, if not the flat-out deity from Magi. If you'll remember, at the end of the Manga Start arc... Well, I'm not sure how many people who read Kagurabachi have watched Magi. But essentially, in Magi, there's this mid-series battle against a certain entity that's way too powerful for our cast to defeat at the time. So they don't defeat it. They damage it, they beat it up a bit, and then it ends up being forced to retreat. But they don't actually defeat it. I think the same thing is going to be here in this battle that's clearly about to happen against the Swordmaster. No one is strong enough. Even with Summer's evolution, considering the Swordmaster's likely evolved over these 18 years of meditation, it's very likely that they're going to fight him, they're going to lose, they're going to barely escape with their lives, and then the Swordmaster is going to become his own threat. But what I'm most excited for, and one of my favorite things about that Magi battle that takes place at the end of the Manga Start arc, is the fact that antagonists and protagonists ended up having to work together, or at least parties that were not completely aligned. And with all the Hishaku invading, if it's not going to be revealed that the Hishaku actually wanted this, they wanted the Swordmaster to regain his abilities, which I think may not be the case. It's a 50-50 on whether that is. I think it's very likely that we are going to get an unexpected team up between Chihiro's group, now with Samura, and the Hishaku, in order to just barely replicate the 5-man band that once defeated the Swordmaster before. But obviously, I don't think they're actually going to win. I think they're going to lose badly and barely escape with their lives. I hope Samura doesn't die. Honestly, I hope no one dies. This is going to sound real crazy for me, the man who's like, I want stakes in my stories, but not right now. I want the Swordmaster to kind of be like an unwinnable boss fight, where they're gonna lose badly, but they'll put up a fight and they'll learn how much more they need to go. On all sides, from the Hishaku to the main crew, we're gonna see how much everyone needs to evolve once they fight what presumably would be the final boss tier threat. So overall, let me hit it for the 2 times. W chapters. Amazing chapters in succession. I'm super excited for chapter 87. Hokuto Sensei, I must say it. Enough time has passed. This is just straight peak fiction. But if you haven't always seen this video, please leave. Nigh is the time. Yeah, I'm just messing up the word. Nigh is the time. Leave nigh is the time in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to notification post so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you have a Patreon down below where you support me for as low as $1 month. These links, exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So, those perks include the live reactions, the series I have to review, add variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 Patreon or $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 cents for a short video, $20 being a long video, or any means at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I would like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, Zera, Brendan Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Uda, Alex Kenny, Yuki Ally, Enzo, Nevis 97, Zachary Wilson, Azo 2404, Planet Crone, Rye Rich, G Prosper, Swift Strike, Alexicon, Striker Man, and Autumn Mornings Lazo. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art patrons, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Dread Zoan, and A+A. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members, Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members, J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our colored art tier patrons, Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz. And a final gargantuan thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin's wife. Not Calvin Elder, who ultimately does have one of my kidneys, but now I must know, and I must undergo the process of getting this second one removed, so I can send the other over to this wonderful family.